screens here, said to be a close aide of Aditya Uddhav Thackeray. He's now been raided 16 locations across Mumbai, all related to the BMC scam. Give us more on this. How important is Suraj in the scheme of things at this point, even for Uddhav Thackeray? How close is Suraj?
So, Nabila, let me tell you that ED since morning is conducting raids at 16 different places. This is related to the jumbo COVID centers which are built in Mumbai, and the complaint was filed at Mumbai police officials, and then later on the investigation started. Now, remember, Suraj Chauhan is a very important person, and this is the resident KK Grande where Suraj Chauhan is residing with his family. Now at 8:15, let me tell you that 5 ED officials came over here, and since then the raids are going on, questioning is happening. Now the Sena workers have gathered over here. They are alleging a nexus of ED and the BJP government. But remember, Suraj Chauhan is the secretary of Yuva Sena and a very close to Thackeray family, and therefore a very important person in Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray Sena. So the raids are going on, and therefore here you can see how the Sena workers have gathered over here. We'll speak to them. जो ईडी की कार्रवाई चल रही है इस वक्त सूरज चौहान के घर पर है, उसके लेकर आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, अभी जब से फडणवीस और शिंदे ने मिलकर मोदी और अमित जी के आशीर्वाद से जो महाराष्ट्र में यानी महाराष्ट्र को बदनाम करने का जो काम किया, 1 साल शायद पूरा हो गया है उनको, तो वो और भी जो ओरिजिनल शिवसेना है उनको दबाना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि वो चाहते थे कि शिवसेना टूटे फूटे खत्म हो, लेकिन वो हुआ नहीं है। उद्धव साहब को बहुत रिस्पांस मिल रहा है, उद्धव साहब के पीछे लोग खड़े हो रहे हैं, और आने वाले चुनाव में उद्धव साहब भी महाराष्ट्र में जीतेंगे, ये उनका सर्वे बता रहा है। इसलिए और दबाने की कोशिश शुरू है, लेकिन कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि बाला साहब के सब शिव सैनिक है, ओरिजिनल शिव सैनिक हम लोग है। चाहे कुछ भी हो, कुछ होने वाला नहीं है। इनको जो करना है वो करने दो, हम हमारे लड़ाई के लिए तैयार है।
आप लोग यही रोकोगे जब तक ईडी अंदर?
देखिए, सूरज चौहान हमारे शिव सैनिकों के साथ में काम करने वाले एक कार्यकर्ता है, बहुत ही प्रामाणिक कार्यकर्ता है, बहुत ही जमीन से जुड़े हुए कार्यकर्ता है। तो वो जब तक है वहाँ पे, हम उनके सपोर्ट के लिए वहाँ पे यहाँ पे रुके हैं। उनकी जो कार्यवाही है वो अंदर क्या कर रहे हैं हमें पता नहीं है, छानबीन कर रहे हैं क्या पता नहीं है, लेकिन हम यहाँ पे रुकेंगे, सूरज जी से मिलेंगे और फिर हम हमारे आगे के काम के लिए निकलेंगे।
Workers have gathered over here. You can see these are the entire workers. Also the Mumbai police officials is over here because several other workers are coming. And Nabila, let me tell you, Suraj Chauhan is a very important person over here in Sena because he is the secretary of Yuva Sena and also very close of Aditya Thackeray. And raids which are going at his place right now. This is the KK Grand building over here. This is where at 8:15 over 5 officials from the ED actually entered his house. When we spoke to the watchman, he clearly said that Suraj Chauhan was inside. He's with his family, and then the 5 officials are right now inside. This is very important scam according to ED. What they are alleging that there were several COVID facilities which were built up during the coronavirus period, and those were illegal. Some forged documents were given, and thousands of crores of scam has happened through contracts which were given, and ED is investigating this. And let me tell you, over 16 places right now the raids which are going on, and one of them is very important place, that is of Suraj Chauhan. Another important place where these raids are happening, Nabila, let me tell you, that's the IAS officer Sanjeev Jaiswal. He was the additional municipal commissioner that time in BMC, and right now at a very top place in Mahada, and the questioning is happening with him as well. So simultaneously several raids and several questioning of ED is happening in Mumbai and the neighboring places of Mumbai.
All right, this is, of course, come as a huge setback at this point. Just a day after the government of Maharashtra has ordered an SIT probe into the alleged BMC scam in the name of COVID. Here, just a day later, 16 locations in Mumbai raided of Suraj Chauhan, a man who's said to be close to Uddhav Thackeray and team. We're going to continue tracking those details. Slipping into a short break. We'll be right back with a lot more on this on the other side. Do stay with us. Some big news coming in. I'm going to quickly cut across to Modi in the United States. Hours before Biden's meet with Prime Minister Modi, Biden calls China President Xi Jinping a dictator. Biden says, and I quote, "She was embarrassed after spy balloon case." Biden says, "Great embarrassment for dictators." In fact, at this point, we're looking at China clearly sidelined with hours before Biden's meet with Prime Minister Modi. Biden calling China's president Xi Jinping a dictator. Biden says she was embarrassed after spy balloon case. He says great embarrassment for dictators. One should know that a spy balloon that came from China was spotted in the United States and the US took it down. At that point, fingers being raised on China's intentions. Relationship between China and the United States, similar to China and India, has been now dented. It's been a few years ever since COVID hit. It's gone downhill with America for sure. At this point, Joe Biden calling Xi Jinping a dictator. A big statement coming in just at a time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in the United States. Just hours before Biden's meet with Prime Minister, Biden calls China President Xi Jinping a dictator. He says she was embarrassed after spy balloon case. Great embarrassment for dictators. These are words of Joe Biden. In fact, at this point, China and the United States relationship has remained strained. While at a time when Modi is in the United States, a statement like this really speaks for a lot. US President Joe Biden calling the Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator. He says this at a fundraiser in California. In fact, this is, of course, at this point, a huge statement coming in because Prime Minister Modi is in the United States. We know the kind of business that US and China has been involved in for years now. India now almost replacing China in that aspect. At least that's how we're seeing trends and some kind of signs that we see here with India stepping up. Joe Biden inviting Prime Minister Modi, this kind of relations and bonhomie with India at this point. India really stepping into the shoes of China completely when it comes to ties with the United States. And this statement coming in from Joe Biden calling Xi Jinping a dictator says it all. Abhishek Balla joining us for more on that. Abhishek, tell us more. Joe Biden, right at a time when Modi is in the United States, calls China, a Chinese President Xi Jinping, a dictator, refers to that very particular spy balloon that the US took down, saying China has been embarrassed ever since. The dictators are embarrassed. Tell us more on that.
Yes, the context, Nabila, is definitely the spy balloon that was shot down by the US. Now, China has been maintaining that it wasn't a spy balloon, but the US is very clear that the kind of equipment which was seized once the balloon was brought down gave clear indications that it was being used to snoop, and it was in their airspace. And that's where Joe Biden says that China was taken by surprise, and it's in this context that he's spoken in this manner about Joe Biden. And yes, the timing again very interesting. It's just a day after the top US diplomat Antony Blinken was in China. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting the United States. So the timing, of all of this becomes even more interesting. Of course, President Biden will be meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A lot of things need to be discussed. And China, in fact, is one of the aspects that is now part of an India-US dialogue. It's constantly been one since 2020, since the tussle started in Ladakh. In fact, we've repeatedly seen reports of the Department of Defense of US referring and making mentions of Chinese aggressions, not just in the South China Sea, but particularly even in Ladakh. There have been clear references to that as well. So yes, very symbolic and interesting timing.
All right. Well, clearly we're seeing that Joe Biden administration now locking horns with the Chinese government, and it's been so for a few years now, all the way from trade to bilateral ties itself. Their relationship is strained. India really stepping up in that picture at this point has cornered China, and how? Xi Jinping calling, or Biden calling Xi Jinping a dictator is really a statement of sorts, while at a time Prime Minister Modi is in the United States. Abhishek, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to slip into a short break this time. On the other side, Mega India Today exclusive. After meeting with Prime Minister Modi, Elon Musk, Tesla CEO, speaks to India Today. He chooses to comment on the India Today's question, says that he is a very big fan of Prime Minister Modi. Taking you through that on the other side.
Most credible ranking of India's best B schools is back in an all-new avatar, bigger and better than before. Catch the 2023 listings of MBA programs, technology companies, and the top executive courses. Don't miss the 24th edition of the Business Today Best B Schools and HR Summit on 23rd June in New Delhi.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Right, Prime Minister Modi in the United States. Let me take you through all the top developments coming in from Modi's historic visit in the US. Prime Minister is in the US for the landmark state visit, an unprecedented deal on jet engine technology transfer that remains to be the top focus. A lot of policy convergence is what's expected on the cards here. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Twitter CEO Elon Musk on the first day of his landmark visit. Musk has said that he is incredibly excited about the future of India and that it has more promise than any other large country in the world. He says that Prime Minister Modi, he is a fan and he is urging Musk to invest in India. Tesla might just soon come to India. Modi has kick-started his United States visit by meeting nearly 24 thought leaders from various fields. Prime Minister Modi has met with Grammy-winning singer Falguni Shah, astrophysicist Neil Tyson, among the top 20 prominent Americans that he's hobnobbed with. Modi chants echoed in New York as enthusiastic Indian community in the United States welcomed Prime Minister Narendra Modi at his hotel in US. Soon after his arrival, many of whom interacted with the Prime Minister, asked him for autographs. Prime Minister seen there indulging a huge crowd right outside his New York hotel. The Indian diaspora is really excited about Prime Minister Modi's historic visit to the United States. During this tour, Modi will be addressing a gathering of the Indian diaspora at the Ronald Reagan Building, the International Trade Center in Washington, D.C. The event will be scheduled 7 to 9 p.m., 2 hours on the 23rd of June. All right, as we said, mega Modi-Musk meet that happened in the United States a little earlier today. Prime Minister Modi met with the Tesla chief, Twitter owner now, Elon Musk, began his 3-day landmark in the state right after meeting Musk. In fact, Musk chose India today to speak while he was expressing his affection to Prime Minister Modi. Musk seemed quite smitten. He said that I am a big fan of Prime Minister Modi and that Prime Minister is doing all the right things for India. On being asked about the timeline on when Tesla is likely to come to India, Musk has said that I am confident Tesla will be in India soon as humanly possible. That's as soon as that he can push this to come to India at this point, as it was in 2015 when Modi had met Musk for the first time in California during a visit to Tesla Motors factory. Elon Musk remembering that, saying that he's known Modi for a while. He is a big fan of Modi. Modi is working hard towards bringing investments to India. Tesla is coming to India as soon as possible.
He really wants to do the right thing for India. He wants to be open. He wants to be supportive of new companies, and obviously, but at the same time, make sure it accrues to India's advantage, which is, obviously that's the job. I'm saying I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
I'm planning to visit India next year.
Are you planning to invest in India?
I'm confident that Tesla will be in India and will do so as soon as humanly possible. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the not too distant future.
Are you looking to invest in India, Elon?
We don't want to jump the gun on an announcement, but I think it's quite likely that there will be a significant investment and relationship with India in the future.
That's big news. What made you change your mind?
I've never changed my mind.
How was your meeting with the Prime Minister?
I have to go, guys. Thank you. It was an excellent, very good conversation.
How soon will we see you in India, Mr. Musk?
Next year, count on it.
Jack Dorsey's statement on India.
I don't know what he said.
That Twitter blocked a lot of handles on government's insistence.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter doesn't have a choice but to obey local governments. If we don't obey local government laws, then we will get shut down. So the best we can do is really to hew close to the law in any given country. But it is impossible for us to do more than that, or we will be blocked and our people will be arrested. So one cannot just apply, America to Earth, because Earth is not. They have different rules and regulations and different forms of government. So, but we'll do the best to provide the freest speech that is possible under the law.
Are you enjoying
you.
running Twitter or is it a drain on your time? Now, India has been wanting Tesla to come and invest in India for a long time. So far, Elon Musk unwilling to come to India because Tesla was seeking special exemptions. The Indian government wasn't willing to make special exemptions or give additional subsidies, and therefore that investment never fructified. When I spoke to Elon Musk soon after his meeting with Prime Minister Modi, he's confirmed on record that Tesla will be investing. He himself will be coming to India next year, and that Tesla is looking to collaborate around SpaceX and invest in manufacturing in India. Now, the specific nature of the investment not explained at the moment, but just the fact that Elon Musk has himself confirmed that Tesla will be investing in India after meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi would count as one of the big wins for the Prime Minister during his visit to New York, because like Apple, Tesla also is a bellwether corporation, and once a company like Apple or Tesla announces investment plans in any country, it does have a ripple effect on other companies in the same sector. It happened in China when Tesla went into China in a very big way, and now Tesla announcing investment in India. Remember, Tim Cook, when he came, also announced that he would double down Apple's investments in mobile manufacturing, and that sends an encouraging signal to other companies in the tech mobile manufacturing space about India as a serious destination for investment. Now, Elon Musk's big announcement, bringing much cheer and sending a strong message that Elon Musk is buying into and wanting to invest in the India story.
All right, India Today's Musk interview certainly triggered a storm. In fact, while speaking to India Today, Musk shunned Jack Dorsey's India gag Twitter remark. When asked about Dorsey's recent allegations against the government, Musk has said, and I quote, "Twitter has to obey local governments. If we don't do so, then we will be shut down." This is what Jack Dorsey said. In fact, we play that out for you. I'm going to take you through that comment yet again. It was, in fact, on the 13th of June when ex-Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey had stoked massive controversy by claiming that the centre had threatened to shut down Twitter in India unless the social network complied with orders to restrict some of the accounts that were critical of the government and those who were speaking on the farmers' protest. BJP, in no time, fired salvo at the Congress for immediately bashing the centre after Dorsey's claims, taking pot shots. The Saffron Party had called this a complete meltdown of the toolkit gang. And politics, of course, on one hand ensued in India. But here's what the current CEO of Twitter, Elon Musk, has to say about Jack Dorsey's comments.
India, for example, India is a country that had many requests of us around the farmers' protest, around particular journalists that were critical of the government, and it manifested in ways such as we will shut Twitter down in India, which is a very large market for us. We will raid the homes of your employees, which they did. We will shut down your offices if you don't follow suit. And this is India, a democratic country.
Twitter doesn't have a choice but to obey local governments. You know, if we don't obey local government laws, then we will get shut down. So the best we can do is really to hew close to the law in any given country. But it is impossible for us to do more than that, or we will be blocked and our people will be arrested. So one cannot just apply, America to Earth, because Earth is not. They have different rules and regulations and different forms of government. So, but we'll do the best to provide the freest speech that is possible under the law.
Well, I have specifically said that it's a slap on the Congress's face that ran with Dorsey's statement trying to indict the Indian government, when the fact is that the incumbent chief of Twitter did not even know about the statement. He feigned ignorance and later went on to say that you cannot apply America to whole Earth. Now, that should really tell the Congress party that they cannot lean on foreign powers, foreign agencies for support here in India. It's quite disappointing that Rahul Gandhi goes to America and meets people who are affiliated to the Jamaat and the ISI, whereas Prime Minister Modi, when he lands up in India, he meets people like Musk, Paul Romer, and several other very illustrious people who have great things to say about India, the progress that India is making, and how they can contribute to India's growth story. Now, that's really the big difference between the Congress party and the BJP. And the Congress needs to reflect that they have for far too long allowed intervention by foreign agencies and foreign powers here in India, and they must stop doing it now at least, after they've got exposed.
It is a proud privilege for all Indians to witness the resurgence of our not only economic prospects, but also the impact India now has culturally across the world, that the world looks at India for not only investment opportunities, but towards India from the perspective of a new global order that is emerging is an issue to be proud of as an Indian.
टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में डिजिटल इंडिया किसने शुरू किया? नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने। आज यूपीआई पेमेंट में, डिजिटल डिलीवरी ऑफ सर्विस में, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर में भारत दुनिया को आगे बढ़ रहा है। यूपीआई में तो दुनिया देख रही है, अच्छी बात है। अब कौन क्या बोलता है छोड़ दीजिए, भारत अपनी रफ्तार से आगे बढ़ रहा है, अच्छी बात है।
All right, here's a quick image. I'm going to leave you with this as I slip into a short break. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with all the dignitaries in the United States. Here you see his meeting right from the start of the day with a bunch of illustrious people, an astrophysicist, investor, in fact, a prominent singer. We're seeing a bunch of them who had taken an appointment to meet and interact with Prime Minister Modi. He had this one-on-one exclusive interactions with almost 20 of them, all illustrious people in their own field and rights. Prime Minister Modi certainly the most popular figure there, as we hear Biden himself saying that tickets are fully sold out for the Washington DC speech, the speech that he's going to be giving soon enough. In fact, in just a day's time, the visitors' lounge, all the tickets that's supposed to be given out, has gone out in seconds. In fact, it's there's hardly any space. That's the kind of fandom that Modi enjoys in the United States. And on this note, slipping into a short break, we'll be right back with a lot more news and updates coming up.
Quality today. In Delhi, 112. In Mumbai, 65. In Kolkata, 58. In Bangalore, 56. In Chennai, 55. In Hyderabad, 73.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
Kerala's public health, all political parties traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today. All right, some big news from Patna. The Patna High Court has issued a notice to Bihar over bridge crash. Patna High Court asks Bihar to respond within 2 weeks' time. The Patna High Court to hear a case on the same on August 4th. On June 5th, the Bhagalpur bridge in Bihar had collapsed. In fact, we're seeing the Patna High Court now taking this up. A notice has been sent to the Bihar government, raising questions, of course, on the quality of construction. Aditya Vaibhav, our reporter joining us from ground. Aditya, tell us more on the Patna High Court's notice to the Bihar government. We saw that bridge really collapse like a pack of cards. The court has now taken this matter up seriously, pulling up the government.
Well, exactly, Nabila. As far as the bridge collapse case is concerned, of course, the court is now apparently pulling up the government, and it has finally issued notices simultaneously to the state government as well as to the executing agencies, and they've been given time of 2 weeks to actually file their answer to the entire notice. But that being said, interesting to note here is the fact that the way the entire thing unfolded and the way the bridge collapsed for the second time during the course of its construction. So this has actually raised serious questions on the quality of construction that is being done in the state. And interesting to note here is the fact that in the entire case, a sitting AICC member is the complainant. So this is something that has actually even, you can say, put him or pushed him to actually take a stand against his own government that is actually incumbent in Bihar. But then we'll have to wait and see what actually happens in the next hearing.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see what answers the Bihar government has for the Patna High Court, as the court has now pulled up the government on this Bhagalpur bridge collapse that happened in barely 12 months' time. In the difference of 12 months, twice the bridge collapsed. 1,700 odd crores that's been spent for this bridge. The quality of material now under question. All right, some news coming in from Pakistan's Islamabad. Holi festival is banned in universities. Pakistani students get disciplinary notice for celebrating Holi in their university. The decision comes after a state-funded university in Islamabad, Pakistan, celebrated Holi on campus on the 12th of June. And now Pakistan says, in fact, a notice has been issued asking universities to ban any kind of Holi festivities. The Pakistani students now getting a disciplinary notice for celebrating Holi in their university. Decision came right after a state-funded university in Islamabad in Pakistan celebrated Holi on campus on the 12th of June. Of course, these images here on the 12th of June from Islamabad, Pakistan, showing students there enjoying the Holi festival. Now you have a direction coming in from officials asking the universities to fully ban any kind of Holi celebrations in Pakistan. Holi festival now banned in universities. Pakistani students getting a disciplinary notice for celebrating Holi in the university. And we believe that a state-funded university in Islamabad, Pakistan, celebrated Holi on campus on the 12th of June. Quick action was taken to reprimand them. Cutting across to Vingas, a journalist from Sindh, Pakistan, joining us on the phone line. Vingas, please tell us, 12th of June, much later to when India celebrates Holi, Pakistan's university there celebrating the festival of colours in their campus. What was the reason for this Holi celebration in campus? Apart, what we see there, the visuals showing that they're really enjoying Holi. It's not the day of Holi, but nonetheless, they're indulging in those festivities. They've been reprimanded, is it?
There is a university, Islamabad Guidance University, and the group of students, they announced the celebration for the Holi. And it was just a celebration of us. Hardly everyone, students, they participated and they celebrated the Holi, and it was viral. It went viral on social media, and after some people they criticized, and some people appreciated it. Unfortunate, after this incident, the Higher Education Commission they issued a statement on June 20th. that this kind of incidents are un-Islamic and they should not be encouraged. But this is not the first time. Whenever there's an incident of the Holi, event of the Holi, festival of the Holi, we often see some kind of criticism, and no doubt the universities will likely they oppose it.
All right, we seem to be having a problem with her audio there. Vingas, a Pakistan journalist, joins us on the phone line. But let me explain to you these visuals here. The students on the 12th of June at a state-funded university in Islamabad, Pakistan, erupted in celebration. Holi, it almost looked like Holi because they played with colors, looked like a proper Holi festival itself. And quickly, it was not soon that the authorities, the administration itself, swamped in, stopped those celebrations and asked for a ban, a complete ban of Holi celebrations at universities. In fact, the message that was sent that these students need to be appraised and should be aware of any kind of vested interests. This is precisely what was said to the students, that they're being influenced by people who do not want to see the country flourish. In fact, Pakistan's Higher Education Commission issued a notice with this regard to crores of students there. In fact, we are looking at a bunch of students, at least thousands of them, who were celebrating, and now all universities have got a standing order that no Holi celebrations will be conducted. So we're looking at thousands of students there who all come under this mandate now. This is one of the universities in Islamabad that is state-funded, so basically government-run, that was celebrating Holi, and we see hordes of students there, at least a good 1,000-odd students who are celebrating the Festival of Colours. Now, a notice has been issued to them saying Holi celebrations must be banned. Such activities portray complete disconnect from the country's socio-cultural values and are an erosion of the country's Islamic identity. This is precisely what the statement has read. Vingas, joining us, the journalist from Pakistan, Sindh. Vingas, please tell us again, give us a little understanding on the reason to why Holi was celebrated on the 12th of June by these students in Islamabad.
Actually, this is a academic university, and the group of students, they announced some kind of celebration of the Holi because student group of the Sunni students, those getting the education in Qaidazan University. In note of often we see the celebrations by the different groups of students, and no one criticizes. But this was shocking for us. That's why the Holi celebration was criticized by the higher institute of the higher education of the commission. We can understand the conservative mind, those criticized. And we often see that whenever there is a festival of Holi, mostly conservative mindset after that they criticize. They criticize in the Lahore when we saw the last year, and including we see the whenever there is a celebration, including the conferences. Very we highly celebrate regardless of your religion, whether you are Muslim or Hindu or Christian. Mostly everyone can celebrate the Holi in Islam. But this time for us, when we received this announcement by the Higher Education Commission, that they stated that the Holi should not be celebrated.
Yeah, we saw that, and in fact, Vingas, in that notice here that I read, it says very clearly that these kind of celebrations are an erosion of the country's Islamic identity. While the notice also says that such kind of religious, festivals does surely become an act of inclusivity and shows some kind of tolerance in society. All of that we understand, but yet these kind of celebrations, large-scale celebrations, should not be conducted. That really takes away from the identity of an Islamic country. This is what the notice reads, as a ban has now been imposed on Holi celebrations in Pakistan. Slipping into a short break, coming up on the other side, India slams China for shielding 2611 plotter, calls the move as petty geopolitical interests, says China lacks will to fight back terror. More on that on the other side of a short break.
While some of the drivers and conductors of Haryana roadways are infamous for their arrogance, Sukhbir Chotiwala is a pleasant aberration. Sukhbir, who hails from Rithal village of Rohtak, works as an operator of Haryana roadways. Working since 2017, Sukhbir makes sure his passengers are comfortable. In the scorching heat, Sukhbir serves water to all the passengers from his salary.
मेरी ड्यूटी जयपुर रूट पे लगी थी, सोनीपत से जयपुर। तो उस टाइम बहुत गर्मी थी, तो मैंने वहाँ देखा सवारी बच्चे पानी के लिए गर्मी में बहुत बुरा हाल था जी। तो मैंने सोचा ड्यूटी के साथ साथ क्यों ना थोड़ा ये धर्म पुण्य का काम भी हो जाए, और उसी दिन से आते मैंने 4 कैंपर खरीदे और अगले दिन मैं कैंपर ही लेके गया रूट पे, और ये जल की सेवा फिर वहीं से शुरू की जी मैंने।
Sukhbir's selfless act has impressed Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, who praised Sukhbir in a tweet and invited him to Chandigarh to felicitate him. No wonder Sukhbir's bus is a favourite among passengers amid the prevailing heat wave condition. Bureau Report, India Today.
Co-powered by The world comes together at Sharda University. Billionaire, visionary and Modi fanboy. Musk's roaring endorsement of Modi's India.
I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
Elon Musk chooses India today to speak out.
I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the not-too-distant future.
Musk slams Dorsey on India comment. Bullish on India, plans Tesla Starlink foray. Only channel with mega Elon Musk interview.
All right, all that excitement in the United States as Prime Minister Modi arrives for his 4-day state visit. India Today really on top of that ball, bringing all the exclusive conversations, the latest updates from that state visit of Modi. I'm taking you through the headlines first. Less than 5 hours to go for Modi's mega yoga celebrations in UN headquarters. Prime Minister Modi now to be leading that with people from 180 nations and officials of the UN performing yoga with the Prime Minister. Mega India Today exclusive after meeting with Modi. Elon Musk speaks to India Today, says that he is a big fan of Prime Minister Modi.
He really wants to do the right thing for India. He wants to be open, he wants to be supportive of new companies. I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
BJP slams the Congress over Musk's reply on Dorsey after Musk rubbishes the former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey's claims on India gag. In fact, calls it a meltdown moment for the toolkit gang. ED raids on Uddhav aid a day after Maharashtra government ordered probe in BMC COVID scam. Uddhav Thackeray camp stages a protest. And India slams China for shielding 2611 plotter, calls the move as petty geopolitical interest, says China lacks will to fight terror. All right, now China has blocked a proposal by India and the United States at United Nations to designate LET terrorist Sajid Mir, who's wanted in 26/11 attacks, as a global terrorist. India and the United States have jointly moved this proposal to blacklist Sajid Mir under the 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee of the UN Security Council as a global terrorist and subject him to an asset freeze, a travel ban, as well as an arms embargo. In fact, India played an audio clip at the UN as proof of Mir's involvement and slammed China for shielding established terrorists for petty geopolitical interests. In the clip, Mir is heard directing terrorists to hunt down foreigners at the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. India has said that blocking of its proposal showed that there was something genuinely wrong with the global counter-terrorism architecture. Sajid Mir is one of India's most wanted terrorists and has a US bounty of $5 million on his head for his role in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, in which 166 people were killed.
Justice still continues to elude the victims of the Mumbai terror attacks. I'd like you all to listen to this particular sound file in the presentation, even as the terror attacks were unfolding.
तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा जिस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है, जा रहा है, उसको फाइट ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह। तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा जिस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है, जा रहा है, उसको फाइट ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह।
This was Sajid Mir, a very dreaded terrorist who directed the terrorists from across the border in real time to hunt down foreigners in the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. He was listed as a proscribed terrorist under the national laws of India. He was proscribed under the laws of the United States, this host country, and of several other countries globally, many of whose nationals lost their lives. But when the proposal for listing him did not go through the Security Council sanctions regime, we had strong reasons to believe that something was genuinely wrong in the global sanctions regime, as manifested in the Security Council. If we cannot get established terrorists who have been proscribed across global landscapes listed under the Security Council architecture for pure geopolitical interests, then we really do not have the genuine political will needed to sincerely fight this challenge of terrorism.
Well, there you have it. In fact, this is China blocking the proposal by India and the United States at the United Nations to designate LET terrorist as a global terrorist. This is a move that China has blocked India's proposal for that. Let me cut across to Munish joining us live right from the newsroom. Munish, Sajid Mir, who's a man responsible for the 26/11 attacks. In fact, an audio clip there, enough and more proof has been given to the United Nations. Somehow China is acting as a roadblock to declare this very man, Sajid Mir, as a global terrorist. So clearly there is a sinister plan in mind. Why else would there be a restriction in announcing this man as a global terrorist? China really trying hard to stop this process.
Absolutely, Nabila, and India has ripped China as far as Sajid Mir is concerned. Remember, China, this is not for the first time that China has tried to block a designated terrorist to be declared in front of the United Nations platform. Now, as far as Sajid Mir is concerned, remember, India has presented all the evidence before the world that how Sajid Mir was involved in the conspiracy and how he was mastermind of 26/11 attack. There was an audio clip which was played today. But as far as Sajid Mir is concerned, remember, India has been trying to get Sajid Mir, and also the US is trying to get Sajid Mir, and that is why a bounty of more than $5 million was put on by the United States. As far as India is concerned, India is very clear that they have evidence against Sajid Mir, who was sentenced to 15 years jail imprisonment last year by Pakistan, but it was an eyewash, it was a whitewash by Pakistan, and that is why India believes that it is important for the entire world that Sajid Mir should be designated as a terrorist. But again, China has been trying to block this particular development, and that is why today India ripped China as far as Sajid Mir is concerned.
All right, you know what, stay with us. I'm going to quickly cut across to that clip, that audio clip, yet again, that's been played out in the United Nations. Let me cut across.
तो तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा किस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, उसको फाइट ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह। तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा किस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, उसको फाइट ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह।
This was Sajid Mir, a very dreaded terrorist who directed the terrorists from across the border in real time to hunt down foreigners in the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. He was listed as a proscribed terrorist under the national laws of India. He was proscribed under the laws of the United States, this host country, and of several other countries globally, many of whose nationals lost their lives. But when the proposal for listing him did not go through the Security Council sanctions regime, we had strong reasons to believe that something was genuinely wrong in the global sanctions regime, as manifested in the Security Council. If we cannot get established terrorists who have been proscribed across global landscapes listed under the Security Council architecture for pure geopolitical interests, then we really do not have the genuine political will needed to sincerely fight this challenge of terrorism.
All right. You know, Manish, we see that India has made it very clear before the United Nations on Sajid Mir's intentions. The man is still on the run, and all the efforts that's being put to declare him a global terrorist is being blocked by China. Tell us a little more on any response that we've received from the United Nations itself on this.
Yeah, well, there was a joint proposal before the United States to designate Sajid Mir as global terrorist. And why? Because in 26/11 attack, more than 166 people were killed. 26 were foreign nationals, and they were US citizens who were killed. And that is why US is also interested in declaring Sajid Mir a global terrorist. But in this entire process, because China plays a major role in the United Nations, China is trying to block this process. And this is why India is questioning that there is genuinely something wrong with China, and that is why they are trying to block this development of declaring Sajid Mir as global terrorist. As far as Sajid Mir is concerned, there are enough evidence to prove that Sajid Mir was working with Pakistan, with the Pakistani ISI, and he was the mastermind. He was the person behind 26/11 attack. He was the one who was giving instructions to the 10 gunmen who killed more than 166 people in Mumbai in 2008. And this is why India's case is very strong. Based on the evidence, the Interpol, on the request of Central Bureau of Investigation, they also issued a red notice, which is the highest level of notice issued by the Interpol against a terrorist. But you know, in so far, what we are seeing that when at one point of time we talk about geopolitical things, but at the same time when countries like China are trying to block a proposal to declare a terrorist, a global terrorist, then genuinely there is something wrong with China, and what might be the intention of China behind this, only one can imagine.
All right. Thank you very much, Manish, for joining us on that. Clearly, China doing all it can to block Sajid Mir from being declared a global terrorist. A proposal has now been, in fact, tabled right in the United States with Prime Minister Modi's visit. A push being made with this regard.
तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा किस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, उसको फाइट ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह। तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा किस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, उसको फाइट ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह।
This was Sajid Mir, a very dreaded terrorist who directed the terrorists from across the border in real time to hunt down foreigners in the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. He was listed as a proscribed terrorist under the national laws of India. He was proscribed under the laws of the United States, this host country, and of several other countries globally, many of whose nationals lost their lives. But when the proposal for listing him did not go through the Security Council sanctions regime, we had strong reasons to believe that something was genuinely wrong in the global sanctions regime, as manifested in the Security Council. If we cannot get established terrorists who have been proscribed across global landscapes listed under the Security Council architecture for pure geopolitical interests, then we really do not have the genuine political will needed to sincerely fight this challenge of terrorism.
all right after ED raids on Uddhav Thackeray's close aide in the BMC scam, the Uddhav Thackeray Sena workers hitting the streets in protest. The Sena, Uddhav Thackeray Sena camp blocking roads in protest. Workers, cops engage in altercations as we see. These protests now on the streets after ED raided Uddhav Thackeray's close associate Suraj. This comes in the BMC COVID scam case. ED probing into this case while just a day ago, in fact, the Maharashtra government had already set up a SIT team to probe the matter. A day later, ED launches this statewide investigation, largely in Mumbai. 16 locations where Suraj Chauhan's homes, offices, etc. associate to him, all of them have been raided now. The agency has conducted raids across multiple locations with now Uddhav Thackeray camp members coming out in protest, calling this vendetta. We see Suraj Chauhan, who's the picture that you see on the screens. He's said to be a close aide of Uddhav Thackeray and his son Aditya. So just a day earlier, Maharashtra government had formed an SIT team to investigate matters into this BMC COVID-related scam where thousands of crores were swindled is the allegation. Of course, it needs to be probed and established, but the allegations were that in the name of COVID, a lot of money was swindled, unaccounted for. In fact, we see that Suraj Chauhan, one of them who's been suspected of indulging in that kind of misuse of money, he's been raided by the Enforcement Directorate in this BMC COVID scam. Protests there on the streets as we see people calling this vendetta. Saurabh Bhaktania joining us live for more. Saurabh, tell us more on the importance of Suraj Chauhan, in the Uddhav Thackeray camp. How close is he? Does he hold a government post? I mean, or does he hold a post at all at this point?
So Suraj Chauhan is a very important person in Sena, and let me tell you, he is the secretary of Yuva Sena, and currently the 16 places ED's raids are going on in Mumbai, and one such location is here in Chembur. This is the KK Grand building, and this is the residence of Suraj Chauhan. When we spoke to the building officials, they clearly told us that at 8:15 in the morning, 5 ED officials came over here, and since then the raids are going on at Suraj Chauhan residence. Like I said, Suraj Chauhan is a very important figure in Sena. He's a very close aide of Aditya Thackeray as well, and this is a very important scam that it was. The allegations are by the ED, clearly investigating the COVID facility scam. Remember, Nabila, let me tell you that during the coronavirus was on peak, the hospital beds, people were not getting beds, and therefore several of the jumbo facilities were built up by the BMC in Mumbai. Several places like BKC, Mulund, Dahisar, at those places jumbo COVID facilities were brought up, and these contracts were given to the close aides from Sena. That is what the allegations are. It has also been said that how the contract was given, how the money was transferred, and in this this entire investigation is happening. And remember, like I said, at 16 places the ED raids are going on, and one such location is Suraj Chauhan's residence. Right now the police officials are manning this place, because let me tell you that there were several of the Sena workers had gathered over here. You can still see them. Those are the Sena workers, and they were actually slogging against Eknath Shinde, Fadnavis government, how they were also using bad words. So that is when the Mumbai police officials came over here. Right now you can see how the bandobast has been deployed over here. They have been asked to move away from this place, and still the ED raids going on inside.
All right, so let me quickly cut across to Nana Patole is speaking. Saurabh, stay with us. Nana Patole is speaking on the same.
बघा, हे विरोधकांना दाबण्याचा आणि भीती दाखवण्याचा अयशस्वी प्रयत्न केंद्रातल्या नरेंद्र मोदीचा सरकारचा आहे. हा शेवटचा प्रयत्न आहे, आणि या ईडी आणि सीबीआयला आता कोणी घाबरण्याचं कारण नाही. आणि मला असं वाटतं की माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्टाने याच्यामध्ये अनेकदा ईडीवर आणि सीबीआयवर ताशेरे फोडलेले आहेत. हे जाणीवपूर्वक या पद्धतीच्या कारवाया तुम्ही करतात आहात. आता त्यांच्या चौकशा चालू आहे, होऊ द्या, पण त्याच्यात काही निघणार नाही एवढंच तुम्हाला सांगेन.
Investigations which are happening, nothing will come out. All this investigations is fake. This is just to target the opposition.
प्रयत्न केंद्रातल्या नरेंद्र मोदीचा सरकारचा आहे, हा शेवटचा प्रयत्न आहे आणि या ईडी आणि सीबीआयला आता कोणी घाबरण्याचं कारण नाही.
This has been done by the Narendra Modi Sarkar, the BJP Sarkar. This is done to suppress the opposition. This is done to target the opposition.
या पद्धतीच्या कारवाया तुम्ही करतात आहात. आता त्यांच्या चौकशा चालू आहे, होऊ द्या, पण त्याच्यात काही निघणार नाही एवढंच तुम्हाला सांगेन.
This has all been done purposely. This has been done to suppress the opposition. ED is working under the government. But let me assure you, nothing will come out in investigation.
केंद्रातल्या नरेंद्र मोदीचा सरकारचा आहे, हा शेवटचा प्रयत्न आहे आणि या ईडी आणि सीबीआयला आता कोणी घाबरण्याचं कारण नाही.
All this investigation, all this action by the ED is just to suppress the Narendra Modi. This has all been done by the Narendra Modi government to suppress the opposition. Let me tell you, nothing is going to come out of this. All this investigation, all this action which has been done by the ED, this is entirely just to suppress the opposition. But in the entire investigation, once it is over, nothing will come out.
बघा, हे विरोधकांना दाबण्याचा आणि भीती दाखवण्याचा यशस्वी प्रयत्न केंद्रातल्या.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to continue tracking those developments. Slipping into a short break, we'll be right back.
Best colleges of the country. Which one will boost your aspirations? From courses to placements, know them all. India Today Best Colleges Survey 2023 issue out this Friday, 23rd June. Subscribe now to indiatoday.in/subscribe and get freebies worth 2,700 from your favorite brands.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
All right, some news coming in on China saying comments by United States President Joe Biden equating Xi Jinping to a dictator is ridiculous. In fact, the relevant remarks by the US side are extremely ridiculous and irresponsible. They seriously violate basic facts, diplomatic protocols. China says this comment by Joe Biden equating Chinese President Xi Jinping to a dictator is ridiculous. This comes hours before Biden's meet with Prime Minister Modi. Biden calls China's President Jinping a dictator. In fact, she was embarrassed, says Joe Biden. She was embarrassed after the spy balloon case. Great embarrassment for dictators. Well, that said, China now responding to this, calling this a ridiculous message. All right, India Today on top of that story with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the United States expected rolling coverage through the day and night today on Prime Minister in the United States for his official first state visit. We're slipping into a short break. All that and more on International Yoga Day with Sneha Murdani. Do stay with us.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
The asanas that have the globe captivated. Led by Modi, world says yoga se hoga. From overseas to the remotest corners of India. On India's aircraft carrier on high seas. To ice-capped mountain peaks. Celebrities, Janta and yoga enthusiasts. World embraces India's soft power.
All right, Prime Minister Modi is all set to lead the International Yoga Day celebrations in New York at the UN headquarters. As part of this historic celebration, Modi will be performing yoga with people from over 180 countries for about an hour. The event will see participation from top UN officials, envoys from across the world, prominent individuals. Prime Minister Modi has said in a video message that yoga has become a global movement through International Yoga Day, and crores of people across the world now doing yoga with the theme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Prime Minister Modi for the last 9 years has diligently marked every yoga day with fellow Indians, highlighting the power of yoga to the world, and this time at a global stage.
योग एक वैश्विक आंदोलन बन गया है, ग्लोबल स्पिरिट बन गया है। साथियों, इस साल योग दिवस के कार्यक्रमों को ओशन रिंग ऑफ योगा इसने और विशेष बना दिया है। ओशन रिंग ऑफ योगा, इसका आइडिया योग के विचार और समुद्र के विस्तार के पारस्परिक संबंध पर आधारित है। योग के इस अनूठे सेलिब्रेशन में देश दुनिया के करोड़ों लोगों का इतने सहज स्वरूप में शामिल होना योग के प्रसार और प्रसिद्धि को, उसके महात्म्य को उजागर करता है। भारतीय समय के अनुसार शाम 5:30 बजे करीब संयुक्त राष्ट्र यूएन के मुख्यालय में जो विशाल मात्रा में योग कार्यक्रम हो रहा है, मैं उसमें शामिल होऊंगा। भारत के आह्वान पर दुनिया के 180 से ज्यादा देशों का एक साथ आना ऐतिहासिक है, अभूतपूर्व है।
All right, now along with the world, India is also celebrating the 9th International Yoga Day. From netas all the way to celebrities and our Indian armed forces at the high altitude border posts, India's soft power there on full display. Let's have a look.
We're on board INS Vikrant at the Cochin shipyard, where Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh is currently leading the Yoga Day celebrations. He's taking part in the Yoga Day celebrations along with the Indian Navy personnel and Admiral R. Harikumar, who's the Chief of the Naval Staff, and Srimati Kala Harikumar, who's the President of Naval Welfare and Wellness Association, along with senior officers of the Indian Navy and Ministry of Defence are also taking part. Armed Forces personnel, including Agniveers, of course, are now undertaking yoga. Several postures, as far as yoga is concerned, they're all embracing this event with a spirit of unity and well-being. And after the yoga session, the Raksha Mantri is expected to address the media, address all the naval personnel and the armed forces personnel who've gathered here, is what we're being told. And this, of course, has been a very important year for the Indian Navy as well.
All right, coming up on the other side, our special broadcast from Bengaluru with my colleague Sneha Murdani on International Yoga Day. Do stay tuned to watch out right in the next moment.
We are at the Akshar Yoga Research and Development Center. Health 360 is telling you all about India's gift to the world. Yoga is a divine journey from self to true self. And to find that true self, India today is in Bengaluru city. We are at the Akshar Yoga Research and Development Center. And as we commemorate Yoga Day celebrations across the country, we're going to tell you all about yoga. In every sense of the word, yoga is India's gift to the world. I'm Sneha Mordani, watching Health 360.
Yoga is not just about body postures or flexibility or another way of exercising or moving your body. It goes much beyond, much deeper. It's a very deeper connection with your own self.
Nostril breathing, close your right nostril with your thumb. Inhale from your left nostril. Close your left nostril and exhale from your right.
Many people, they say, I feel suicidal, like domestic abuses, the many things that happened at the time. And I used to get the phone calls and I was scared. And what can I do? What should I do at this time? This is happening, what should I do? And only thing at that time I knew is this will help. And then be strong right now and log in the morning. Few months later, I remember this person, the same lady who called me, who was saying that I was feeling suicidal, and they called me after 3 months and she tells, मैं कहाँ मरने की सोच रही थी and now मैं headstand कर रही हूँ. That was kind of liberating.
The myth about yoga just being something which can be equated to exercise is absolutely something that we need to move away from, and regular practices will make us believe, and results will tell us that it is something beyond just exercises.
Complete focus on your breath.
It really works on rewiring your brain in such a way it will help us grow as a person. As I told you before, no matter what profession that I am in, I might not be a yoga teacher or anything. I can be the best in everything I do. That's what yoga does. 3, 4, 5, 6.
If there's a group of friends and one of the person is known to have a very frequent anxiety attacks or very frequent panic attacks, what the others would advise is that just breathe, relax, you should not take too much of pressure, you should just chill, right? But what is happening inside, only that person knows. The best part of yoga is that it doesn't force anything that you should come out. It's not a toxic positivity. Everybody give me a smile, a cheeky smile. A big one, big cheeky smile. There you are, looking so beautiful.
When we are talking about yoga asanas, like yoga asanas would directly work with your blood flow. And when your blood flow is impacted, then we are talking about not just flexibility or strength or just at that level. We are talking about something beyond that.
Inhale, Bhujangasana, roll your shoulder back, drop your head behind. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, push your heels down.
The practice of yoga is believed to have started with the very dawn of civilization. The science of yoga has its origins from thousands of years ago, long before religions and belief systems were born. In the yogic lore, Shiva is seen as the first yogi or Adi Yogi and the first guru or Adi Guru.
There is no doubt that Himalaya is the origin of yoga.
And that's the reason why people from all over the world, they are inclined towards these divine mountains. In our practices, when we are, we say that we practice or train on mountains, for us, yoga is a time immemorial practice. Giving any specific time, it'll always will be a kind of conflict. But still, when we go with the documents, so documents like Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutra and Rig Veda, they have immense information about yogic practices, and each these scriptures, they have their own method and way to teach us about the principle and the science of yoga.
The beginnings of yoga can be traced to the Indus Saraswati civilization in northern India over 5,000 years ago. Around the time of 1800s and 1900s, yoga masters began traveling to the West, attracting attention and many followers. In the year 1893, Swami Vivekananda traveled to Chicago, attending the Parliament of Religions, preaching to the attendees about yoga and the universality of religion. He wowed the audience there, and thus began the journey of yoga moving out of India's shores. More than 100 years later came India's moment in 2014, when yoga was consciously popularized by the Indian government. The idea to tell the West that yoga is India's gift to the world, undoubtedly a symbol of India's soft power.
योग हमारी पुरातन पारंपरिक अमूल्य देन है। योग मन व शरीर, विचार व कर्म, संयम व उपलब्धि की एकात्मता का तथा मानव व प्रकृति के बीच सामंजस्य का मूर्त रूप है। यह स्वास्थ्य व कल्याण का समग्र दृष्टिकोण है। आइए हम एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस को आरंभ करने की दिशा में कार्य करें।
With the acceptance of yoga from international platforms, when you have the whole world involved in yoga, not emotionally, now it's kind of official announcement all over the world that International Yoga Day, 21st June, and the whole globe celebrates this. So people, those who are involved, for sure, it's an achievement for them, but those who are not aware, they also got the information. And collective consciousness will help to go more deep in this science, and that's what we are seeing from past 8 years.
The 21st day of June is celebrated as Yoga Day world over. 300 million people globally have embraced this practice, reaping benefits for their bodies and their minds.
If you travel towards these Western countries, European countries, it's crazy how people, they are involved in yoga. Every third street will have a beautiful yoga center. It's not only that you're just running outside and you got some place and practicing yoga. There are dedicated academies, institutes, studios to practice yoga. So what our experience is, let it be the streets of Manhattan or in Japan. People, they practice there. They spend a year or 2 years and then they are back to Himalayas. You will see them in Himachal Pradesh, in Rishikesh, or in Nepal, these kind of mountain ranges. They come and they spend their time. They try to go more deep in yogic practices.
In my early educational days, I was a little boy and I was very lost. I didn't know where to turn, I didn't know what to do, I didn't know who to believe. So I always wondered why I was here. I knew I was here for a specific reason. We implement the practice of yoga. So naturally, it changes your inner mechanism. I gave up my business in the UK and I sold my house in the UK to come to India to learn the ancient teachings of yoga and pranayams, breathing techniques, mudras and meditation techniques. And it's helped me so much because obviously moving from England to India is such a big jump and it's enabled me to have a stronger mindset. Now that I realise that this is what I need to do in this lifetime, it's very passionate for me to bring these teachings back to the West, back to England and help humanity.
Those who've embraced it tell us how yoga is possibly the most holistic wellness and health practice.
The whole science of chemical is yoga. My anger, my happiness, my joy, my stress, everything is yoga. If I'm able to take a benefit, for sure I would like to share with my family. And that's what the philosophy of yoga is, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We believe that whole world is our family. So it's very important to share this gift with everyone.
Yoga can be used in every way. Even as I told you, I myself joined to lose weight. The way you do any particular asana or the combination of asanas that we do, then how you combine asanas with each other and how you do with the breath, it matters. Another person who wants to get rid of the stress or anxiety or want to become flexible, everything works because of the combination that you're doing. It is asanas along with the breath techniques that we do.
When you do an asana, and you're not doing just an asana for your postures or building your strength or your flexibility, but you are doing it along with using your breath, you're doing it completely mindfully. You are in the present moment. There are 72,000 channels in our internal life force, unconscious body. What does it mean? Ayurveda speaks about it. Our rishis, munis have spoken about it long back, thousands of years back. What does it mean and how do they get blocked? Yoga is something that works on these channels.
When we talk about yoga, people don't even know that there is something called yoga for vision. Like your eyesight can be impacted with regular practices of yoga. Again, the same concept of channelizing your blood flow, and there are certain postures which trigger that more than the others. So when we are talking about inversions, or when blood is directly flowing towards your face or towards your upper body, then these kind of practices, when done regularly, will definitely result to a healthier vision and staying away from basic lifestyle disorders that we may have otherwise. Pressing certain pressure points with your fingers, they again stimulate your blood flow in a way that it would provide glow to your face. And again, regular practices. In fact, some of the face yoga practices can also be combined with breathing techniques like pranayama.
Diabetes is not just a problem of your body, it is a problem of your hormones, it is a problem of your stress levels, it is a problem of your spirit. You have to work on all forms, you have to work with your food, you have to work with your activity levels. There are particular asanas that work on your particular organs. There's accumulation of energy in your system which needs to be removed, and yoga works on that. So there are a lot of things that, and we have seen, I have seen in my personal practice also that yoga is really helpful and very holistic when it comes to reversing diabetes.
28-year-old Parth Patel, a practicing doctor who's battled depression and bipolar disease, tells us that his weapon has been yoga.
I had done my MBBS from Gujarat, and while I was doing the MBBS, the whole purpose of me becoming a doctor was to incorporate the healthy lifestyle into the society. But as I went into the deeper version of deeper layers of dealing with the patients, I got to understand that it was not providing health in the real terms. Rather, it was creating more illness in terms of side effects, in terms of putting a hole in the pocket. And that realization really got me thinking, really got me question about a lot of my choices about becoming a doctor. And those questions I didn't have the answers to, got me into that, not just depression, but the bipolar disease, that I used to become a little bit maniac about thinking, how would I deal with this, because I really wanted to serve the society, but there was no real way I could find to actually do it. That was for me at least. And on the other hand, I used to feel very helpless, thinking that what am I going to do as one person against the entire system, the healthcare system that we have, and how even if I take certain steps, how those steps are going to make a difference into the world. And that's when I started practicing yoga for myself, and that's when I found the results. Not just in the physical body, of course, I really gained some good strength, stability and flexibility. My mental stability also increased. I was able to be in a lot more peace with myself.
Hoshidar Dubaj, a hotelier who fought hard against alcoholism, says that yoga came to his rescue.
When I was a hotelier, I was working in hotels, so nearly that time, weekends or we finish our work on the weekdays, and meeting friends and just having a drink was giving me that confidence that this is life. But nearly then I felt like does it make sense? Because my purpose, I'm not understanding my purpose, like why am I doing all these things? So the journey was, after joining the yoga, I really felt like that alcohol is not allowing me to grow. It is just giving me that a rush of happiness, peace, and that wasn't I was actually looking out for. But then when I started practicing Vitakshya Yoga, and the most important is the guidance of my guru, it nearly changed my life.
The world found itself in the middle of a pandemic in the year 2020. The pandemic has truly robbed us of our mental peace and physical well-being. But the quest for solutions is still on.
This announcement itself was a panic, because no one is trained to live an isolated life. And what need to be done, what I should do, this kind of thoughts, this kind of lifestyle, it was natural to go through with the stress, anxiety and depression. Because yoga is having the mechanism to treat mind. Yoga is having that technique to engage you. People, those who got involved in this process, you see their outcome is totally different. When we meet people, in that fun part, they say that those were beautiful days. Why? Because morning they were able to practice, evening they were able to practice, and they were engaged. My 1 hour is dedicated for my physical practice. So pandemic time, people, they became super conscious about their health.
That brings us to the end of this edition of Health 360. We're signing off from Bengaluru City. Until next time, stay safe and do take very good care of yourself. Bye for now.
A Silicon Valley trade group called Compete America has sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security saying that the current cap of 85,000 H-1B visas per year is insufficient to meet the demands of these tech companies, and this particular visa has always been an option for seeking skilled workers from countries like India. But the tricky part is that the demand to expand the allocation comes just months after the big tech companies fired thousands of employees. Now, there are some concerns in the US that this move will replace higher paid domestic workers with lower paid H-1B visa holders. Some companies have reportedly already started replacing fired employees with H-1B visa. One of the main issues the H-1B visa program is that it can lead to a reduction in wages in the tech industry. This primarily happens because the companies can pay foreign workers below the local median wage, which ultimately also leads to concerns about unfair competition. And it is not all good for the visa holders as well. The Economic Policy Institute claims the competition not only leads to underpayment of foreign workers, but also that these employees are trapped with the company. They are not able to challenge or negotiate for better working conditions or higher salaries due to the higher competition.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 40 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 31 and minimum 28 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 37 and minimum 29 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 27 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 32 and minimum 25 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 34 and minimum 25 degrees.
Kerala's public health. All political parties traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Powered by. The world comes together at Sharda University. Billionaire, visionary, and Modi fanboy. Musk's roaring endorsement of Modi's India.
I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
Elon Musk chooses India today to speak out.
I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the not-too-distant future.
Musk slams Dorsey on India comment. Bullish on India, plans Tesla Starlink foray. Only channel with mega Elon Musk interview.
You're watching India Today. I'm Nabila Jamal. I'm going to take you through Prime Minister Modi in the United States. All the exclusive images. We've spoken to a bunch of leaders there. In fact, some influential people who have spoken exclusively to India Today and Modi's visit and the kind of potential that India has. This 4-day state visit is certainly going to be special for India. All that and more, the headlines first. Less than 4 hours to go for Modi's mega yoga celebrations in the United Nations headquarters. Prime Minister Modi to be leading that with almost people from 180 nations. Mega India Today exclusive after meeting with Modi. Elon Musk speaks to India Today, says he is a big fan of Prime Minister Modi.
For India, he wants to be open, he wants to be supportive of new companies. I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
BJP slams Congress over Musk reply on Jack Dorsey, former CEO of Twitter, who had made claims that there was a gag order that the Modi government had issued, asking all voices critical of the Modi government to be blocked off Twitter. In fact, now Elon Musk rubbishes those claims, while BJP says that Congress is really having a heartburn over this moment. ED raids on Uddhav Thackeray's aide a day after Maharashtra government ordered a probe into the BMC COVID scam. Uddhav camp staging a protest now. India slams China for shielding 2611 plotter, calls the move as petty geopolitical interest, says China lacks will to fight terror. All right, let me now first take you through all the top developments coming in of Prime Minister Modi's historic visit to the United States. Prime Minister is in the US for this landmark 4-day state visit. An unprecedented deal on jet engine technology transfer remains to be the top focus of this 4-day event. Prime Minister Modi met with Twitter CEO Elon Musk on the first day of his landmark visit. Musk has said that he is incredibly excited about India's future and has promised that any other large country in the world, and compared to any other country, India is making the fastest progress. Also commits that Tesla is coming to India as humanly fast as possible. Modi kickstarted his US visit by meeting nearly 24 thought leaders from various fields. Prime Minister Modi met with Grammy-winning singer Falguni Shah, astrophysicist Neil Tyson, among 20 other prominent Americans. Modi chants echoed in New York as enthusiastic Indian community in the United States have welcomed Prime Minister Modi at his hotel in the United States. As soon as he arrives, he's seen indulging a huge crowd right outside his hotel, was there to greet him, many of whom interacted with the Prime Minister, took autographs from him. These images from earlier today. Now, the Indian diaspora is really excited, of course, about Prime Minister's historic visit to the US during his tour. This time, a state visit. Modi will be addressing also the Indian diaspora at the Ronald Reagan Building, the International Trade Center in Washington, D.C. The event will be about 2 hours on 23rd of June, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. All right, now mega Modi-Musk meet in the United States as Prime Minister met with Tesla CEO, Twitter CEO also now, Elon Musk, Twitter owner, in fact. His 3-day visit, Prime Minister Modi started off with meeting with these illustrious personalities in the United States. Elon Musk, very clearly smitten by Prime Minister Modi. He's expressed his big, fan moment. And in fact, he says he's met with Modi a few years ago when Modi visited his Tesla factory. He's known him since then. And he is a big fan of Prime Minister Modi. And also claims that Prime Minister is doing all things right for India. He's inviting a lot of investment for India. And when asked about Tesla entering into India, he says, I'm very confident that Tesla will be in India as humanly soon as possible. It was in 2015 when Modi had met Elon Musk for the first time in California during his visit to Tesla Motors factory. And here Elon Musk today too, showing that kind of admiration for Prime Minister Modi right after he met him. He also chose to answer questions by India today. When asked about Tesla coming into India, he says it's happening ASAP.
He really wants to do the right thing for India. He wants to be open. He wants to be supportive of new companies, and obviously, but at the same time, make sure it accrues to India's advantage, which is, obviously that's the job. I'm saying I am a fan of Modi, so I have to say that.
I'm planning to visit India next year.
Are you planning to invest in India?
I'm confident that Tesla will be in India and will do so as soon as humanly possible. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the not too distant future.
Are you looking to invest in India, Elon?
We don't want to jump the gun on an announcement, but I think it's quite likely that there will be a significant investment and relationship with India in the future.
That's big news. What made you change your mind?
I've never changed my mind.
How was your meeting with the Prime Minister?
I have to go, guys. Thank you. It was an excellent, very good conversation.
How soon will we see you in India, Mr. Musk?
Next year, count on it.
Jack Dorsey's statement on India.
I don't know what he said.
That Twitter blocked a lot of handles on government's insistence.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter doesn't have a choice but to obey local governments. If we don't obey local government laws, then we will get shut down. So the best we can do is really to hew close to the law in any given country. But it is impossible for us to do more than that, or we will be blocked and our people will be arrested. So one cannot just apply, America to Earth, because Earth is not. They have different rules and regulations and different forms of government. So, but we'll do the best to provide the freest speech that is possible under the law.
Are you enjoying running Twitter, or is it a drain on your time?
All right, India Today Musk interview has triggered this massive storm now. While speaking to India Today, Musk has shunned Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter, when he had said that India gagged Twitter, the remark that he had made, saying that Indian government had heckled Twitter to shut down some of those accounts that were critical of the government. When asked about the same on Jack Dorsey's comments to Elon Musk, Musk said, and I quote, "Twitter has to obey local government's rules. If we don't do so, then we're bound to be shut down." It was on June 13th when ex-Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey had stoked controversy by claiming that the centre had threatened to shut down Twitter in India unless the social media network had complied with those standing orders by the government saying that we will raid you and threaten to shut Twitter down if they don't cancel or disconnect accounts that were critical of the government, especially those on the farmers' protests. BJP in no time fired salvos at the Congress for immediately bashing the centre over Dorsey's claims, taking pot shots. The Saffron Party has called this complete meltdown of the toolkit gang.
India, for example, India is a country that had many requests of us around the farmers' protest, around particular journalists that were critical of the government, and it manifested in ways such as we will shut Twitter down in India, which is a very large market for us. We will raid the homes of your employees, which they did. We will shut down your offices if you don't follow suit. And this is India, a democratic country.
Twitter doesn't have a choice but to obey local governments. If we don't obey local government laws, then we will get shut down. So the best we can do is really to hew close to the law in any given country. But it is impossible for us to do more than that, or we will be blocked and our people will be arrested. So one cannot just apply, America to Earth, because Earth is not. They have different rules and regulations and different forms of government. So, but we'll do the best to provide the freest speech that is possible under the law.
Well, I have specifically said that it's a slap on the Congress's face that ran with Dorsey's statement trying to indict the Indian government, when the fact is that the incumbent chief of Twitter did not even know about the statement. He feigned ignorance and later went on to say that you cannot apply America to whole earth. Now, that should really tell the Congress party that they cannot lean on foreign powers, foreign agencies for support here in India. It's quite disappointing that Rahul Gandhi goes to America and meets people who are affiliated to the Jamaat and the ISI, whereas Prime Minister Modi, when he lands up in India, he meets people like Musk, Paul Romer, and several other very illustrious people who have great things to say about India, the progress that India is making, and how they can contribute to India's growth story. Now, that's really the big difference between the Congress party and the BJP. And the Congress needs to reflect that they have for far too long allowed intervention by foreign agencies and foreign powers here in India, and they must stop doing it now at least, after they've got exposed.
It is a proud privilege for all Indians to witness the resurgence of our not only economic prospects, but also the impact India now has culturally across the world, that the world looks at India for not only investment opportunities, but towards India from the perspective of a new global order that is emerging is an issue to be proud of as an Indian.
टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में डिजिटल इंडिया किसने शुरू किया? नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने। आज यूपीआई पेमेंट में, डिजिटल डिलीवरी ऑफ सर्विस में, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर में भारत दुनिया को आगे बढ़ रहा है यूपीआई में। तो दुनिया देख रही है, अच्छी बात है। अब कौन क्या बोलता है छोड़ दीजिए, भारत अपनी रफ्तार से आगे बढ़ रहा है, अच्छी बात है।
Just last week, Mr. Musk was in Beijing and he said that the United States of America and China are conjoined twins. So therefore, the Prime Minister should have asked him that this conjoined twin of the United States of America has transgressed into India's across the line of actual control and into Indian territory for the past 36 months. So therefore, endorsements by business persons should be taken with a spoonful of salt, but because those endorsements are made, keeping their own interests in mind.
As Prime Minister Modi touches down the United States, we're looking at a lot on the agenda. The 4 days of his state visit will be filled with enough and more talks on bilateral ties and trade. Let's start with the deal, of course, a key defense deal that is all set to be inked between India and the United States. And the most exciting one, of course, among them is the Predator drones deal that is expected, the Sea Guardians, which the United States used to pull off some key precise attacks. Now, also on the cards, we're also seeing military technology cooperation. There'll be a lot of exchanges in terms of technology in the defense sector. And then we know there is going to be enough and more talk on the Indo-Pacific region, on how to establish relations within the Indo-Pacific region. What more can we do between India and the United States to improve this area when it comes to trade and ties? And then finally, talks on Chinese aggression. We're already seeing Joe Biden now taking up the issue of China, calling Xi Jinping a dictator. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, too, at this point will be discussing extensively on the kind of roadblocks that China is posing when it comes to countering terrorism along the border areas of India. So this is certainly going to be the agenda. A lot of that talk will take place in the next 4 days of Prime Minister Modi on his official state visit to the United States. All right, now, meanwhile, China has blocked a proposal by India and the United States at the United Nations to designate elite terrorist Sajid Mir, wanted in 26/11 attacks, as a global terrorist. India and the US has jointly moved the proposal to blacklist Sajid Mir under 1267 Al-Qaeda sanctions, the Committee of the UN Security Council, as a global terrorist and subject him to an assets freeze, a travel ban and an arms embargo. India has played an audio clip out at the UN as well as proof of Mir's involvement and slammed China for shielding established terrorists for this petty geopolitical interests. In the clip, Mir is heard directing terrorists to hunt down foreigners at the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. India has said that blocking of its proposal showed that there was indeed something genuinely wrong with the global counter-terrorism architecture. Sajid Mir is one of India's most wanted terrorists and has a US bounty of $5 million for his role in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, in which 166 people were killed.
Justice still continues to elude the victims of the Mumbai terror attacks. I'd like you all to listen to this particular sound file in the presentation, even as the terror attacks were unfolding.
तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा जिस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है, जा रहा है, उसको फायर ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह। तो जो जहाँ पे आपको मूवमेंट नजर आती है, बंदा जिस छत पे चल रहा है, कोई आ रहा है, जा रहा है, उसको फायर ठोको। उसे नहीं पता यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है। इंशाल्लाह।
This was Sajid Mir, a very dreaded terrorist who directed the terrorists from across the border in real time to hunt down foreigners in the Taj Hotel and kill them indiscriminately. He was listed as a proscribed terrorist under the national laws of India. He was proscribed under the laws of the United States, this host country, and of several other countries globally, many of whose nationals lost their lives. But when the proposal for listing him did not go through the Security Council sanctions regime, we had strong reasons to believe that something was genuinely wrong in the global sanctions regime, as manifested in the Security Council. If we cannot get established terrorists who have been proscribed across global landscapes listed under the Security Council architecture for pure geopolitical interests, then we really do not have the genuine political will needed to sincerely fight this challenge of terrorism.
All right, I'm going to cut across to Munish joining us for more on that. Munish, tell us more on China's plan, really an intention, as one would speculate, on why they would stop India's bid to declare Sajid Mir, the man who's responsible for the 2008 Mumbai attacks that killed 166 people, to announce him as a global terrorist. It seems like China is posing roadblocks. India has now placed this matter in the United States, right, during the visit of Prime Minister Modi. This will be presented before the UN yet again. Tell us more on China's intentions here.
Well, as far as Sajid Mir is concerned, remember India has presented a very strong case, and on Wednesday, before the United Nations Council, India ripped China apart as far as Sajid Mir is concerned. And remember, this is not for the first time that China has been trying to create a roadblock in declaring a terrorist a global terrorist, a designated terrorist. Now, as far as China is concerned, remember, even in the case of Masood Azhar in 2019, China was not on page with India or other countries in declaring him as a global terrorist. And again, China is creating a roadblock as far as terming Sajid Mir as a global terrorist is concerned. But as far as the audio conversation is concerned, remember, this was a clear message to the entire world that how China is functioning as far as global terrorism is concerned. And Sajid Mir is a person who is not only involved in 2011 Mumbai attack, but also he was responsible for killing of 166 people, including some of the US citizens. And that is why the United States are also on the page with India in declaring Sajid Mir as a global terrorist. But as far as China is concerned, in the speech, it was very clear by India that there is something genuinely wrong with China, and that is why they are not, on the page with India in declaring Sajid Mir as a global terrorist. Nabila.
All right, Munish, thank you very much for joining us. Let's just hope the United States visit of Prime Minister Modi this time will change those roadblocks to declare this man a global terrorist. Sajid Mir, responsible for the 26/11 attack, still goes absconding. He's still free, and China somehow cushioning him by restricting this process with the UN. On that note, we're going to slip into a short break. We'll be right back with news and updates on the other side. Do stay with us.
The Kardashians never stay away from the news. It's either controversy that follows them or somebody in the family is having a baby. And this time, it's the latter. Yes, the eldest Kardashian sister, Kourtney, is expecting her first child with husband and drummer Travis Barker. The TV personality announced the good news during Travis's Blink 182 concert with "I am pregnant" written on a placard. Soon after, the couple also took to social media to share this video. Which was followed by a series of these pictures. Captioning the post, Kourtney wrote, and we quote, "Overwhelmed with gratitude and joy for God's blessing and plan." Now, if you jog your memory, Kourtney shares 3 children with her former boyfriend, Scott Disick, and this will be her 4th child. While Travis, too, is a father of 3 children with his former wife, Shanna Moakler, and together the couple is all excited to welcome baby number 7 in the family. Even the Kardashian sisters are all excited for #Travis. This all started with Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker finding their fairy tale, beginning when they exchanged vows at a villa owned by Dolce & Gabbana in Italy's Portofino in the presence of their close friends and family. Their Portofino wedding came a week after they legally got married at a courthouse in Santa Barbara, California. For the unversed, Kardashian and Barker got engaged in October 2021 on a beach in California. The duo had been dating for less than a year when the rocker got down on one knee. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
All right, welcome back. Now, search teams are currently racing against time to find this submersible, a submarine, a Tor submarine that went missing during a dive to Titanic's wreckage site. Rescuers say that they've heard noises around that area where the vessel went missing. 5 people were on board, including a British billionaire, when contact was lost with that submarine. It takes about $500,000, the price to actually get on that submarine for a tour towards that Titanic wreckage site, with now nearly 30 hours only of oxygen left. Now the rescue operation intensifies.
Before we went, we had never seen the sub. We didn't know anything about it. There's very little information on the website. I didn't know at that point that you drive the thing with an Xbox game controller. I didn't know that the ballast was, used construction pipes. And then you get the tour, and Stockton Rush, the designer of the sub, the CEO, explains to you that all of this stuff, the lights and the handles and the propellers, these are off-the-shelf parts because, well, not only are they inexpensive, but they're tried and true. They're mass-produced. The part we care about is the pressure vessel, the capsule where the people are. And that he designed with NASA and the University of Washington. And that, he says, is as locked down as it gets. His exact words were, everything else can fail. The lights can go out, the propellers can stop, but you will still be alive. Once I was in the sub with Stockton and, the scientists and the crew is outside doing what they had rehearsed over and over, I felt okay. I felt excited. I felt like they wouldn't do this if it was really dangerous.
You steer the ship with a controller, with a joystick from a gaming system, a home gaming system. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing, that how very simple this submarine is and how...
Preserving our rich heritage and at the same time creating world-class infrastructure for tourism. One of our focus area is on developing spiritual tourism. After all, India attracts pilgrims of every major religion of the world. After the infrastructure upgrade, the eternal city of Varanasi, just one of the major spiritual centers, now attracts 70 million pilgrims, a 10-fold increase from earlier. We are also creating new tourist attractions such as the Statue of Unity. At the tallest statue in the world, it attracted about 2.7 million people within a year after it was built. In the last 9 years, we have placed special emphasis on developing the entire ecosystem of tourism in the country. From transport infrastructure to the hospitality sector, to skill development, and even our visa systems. We have kept the tourism sector as a focal point of our reforms. The hospitality sector has great potential for employment generation, social inclusion, and economic progress. It employs more women and youth compared to many other sectors. I am glad we are also recognizing the relevance of tourism sector for speedy achievements of sustainable development goals. Excellencies, you are working on 5 interconnected priority areas of green tourism, digitalization, skill development, tourism MSMEs, and destination management. These priorities reflect Indian as well as the global South's priorities. We should make greater use of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and augmented reality to drive innovation. For example, in India, we are working on using artificial intelligence to enable real-time translation of the wide range of languages spoken in India. I believe that collaboration among governments, entrepreneurs, investors, and academia can accelerate such technology implementation in tourism. We should also work together to help our tourism companies increase their access to finance, ease business regulations, and invest in skill development. Excellencies, it is said that terrorism divides, but tourism unites. Indeed, tourism has the potential to unite people from all walks of life, creating a harmonious society. I am happy to note that a G20 tourism dashboard is being developed in partnership with UNWTO. It will bring together best practices, case studies, and inspiring stories. It will be a first of its kind platform and will be your enduring legacy. I hope that your deliberations and the Goa roadmap would multiply our collective efforts to realize tourism's transformative power. The motto of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, can itself be a motto for global tourism. Excellencies, India is a land of festivals. We have festivals around the year, all over the country. In Goa, the San Juo festival is coming up soon. But there is another festival that you must visit, the Festival of Democracy in the Mother of Democracy. Next year, India will hold its next general election. For over a month, nearly 1 billion voters will be celebrating this festival, reaffirming their abiding faith in democratic values. With more than 1 million voting booths, there will be no shortage of places for you to witness this festival in all its diversity. I invite you all to visit India for this most important of global festivals. And with that invitation, I wish you all success in your deliberations. Thank you.
Chemical exfoliators work best when combined with facials. You know that a quality skincare routine is essential for maintaining healthy, glowing skin, especially in the summer months. Spending more time outside exposes you to more dangerous UVA, UVB rays, dangerous radicals, and unpleasant pollution, and all this can harm deep layers of your skin. The one behavior that by the end of the summer will genuinely improve your skin: regular facials.
Summer is the perfect time to pamper your skin, and give it rejuvenating and refreshing boost. With hot and humid weather out there, it's important to choose facials that not only give you a glowing skin but also soothe and cool it.
One of the most go-to facial is hydrofacial. A hydrofacial is one of the most common procedures performed year-round, but it is especially popular